New home sales in the Greater Sacramento area are starting to slide, even though builders are offering huge incentives to attract buyers. But this is not just a local trend, it's happening across the United States as well. In today's video, I'll break down the latest trends we're seeing today, and on top of that, how this all compares to the country as a whole. I'll also give you an update regarding mortgage rates, and on top of that, when we can expect the Fed to start cutting interest rates this year. If we haven't met, I'm Jason Walter, and welcome to my second YouTube channel, Sacramento Home Goals. People just like you reach out to me every single week and I absolutely love it after watching my YouTube videos, of course. So if you're looking to buy or sell home here, then of course you can book a call with me right here, or I'll provide my information below as well. I look forward to hearing from you. With that said, I have a lot to share in today's video. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So this first report, and the reason why I'm sharing this, by the way, is because I go over a lot of new build and construction, a lot of model homes, sharing all the incentives that builders are offering. So I really want to kind of provide some information regarding, is this working? Is all these incentives being offered by home builders? Is it really driving home sales or not? So I haven't really seen a whole lot of people talk about the new build housing market here in Sacramento. And this, by the way, covers the Greater Sacramento area, including Elk Grove, Roseville, Rockland, etc. So here's a report from the North State Building Industry Association. This covers the month of June. They should post July's numbers in about 2 weeks from now. So I'll post a video once they announce those numbers. So it says here, the nationwide slowdown in new home sales has spread to the Sacramento region, as the North State Building Association, or the BIA, reported today, this was reported about 3 weeks ago, that sales during June fell to 313. So there was 313 new home sales that occurred in June this year in our region. That was the lowest monthly reading since June of 2022, when of course sales virtually fell off a cliff due to the fact that rates went from 3 to 7% in less than 12 months. And of course, inventory skyrocketed that year. So I do want to share how that all compares to the nation as a whole. But first, let's have a look at this. Here's a look at new home construction sales in our region ever since June of 2016. These are all June home sales over the past several years. So this year, there's only 313. Back in June of 2022, there was only 258 houses that sold, or new homes that sold. So at 313, excluding June of 2022, that's actually the lowest reading for June, going all the way back until June of 2016. Back then, there was 295 new home sales. The reason why this is so remarkable is given the fact that builders right now are offering all these incentives to buyers, as I've been sharing with you guys on this channel. That is a closing cost credit. And on top of that, some builders are also offering a lower mortgage rate as well. So all these incentives is not really driving home sales, at least for the month of June. We'll have to see what July's numbers look like in about 2 weeks from now. Like I mentioned, this is not just in Sacramento, this is really across the US as well. This is a report from the US Census Bureau. They reported this last week, less than a week ago. So here's a look at new home sales. This, by the way, is only looking at new single-family houses nationwide. So in the US as a whole, there was 627,000 new home sales. And that is down, by the way, down by nearly 7% compared to June of 2024. Now, why does this even matter, right? This is kind of my opinion. Two main reasons here. It's down from 7% from a year ago. And again, looking at existing houses or home sales last year, it was at a 29-year low. So it's very noteworthy given the fact that new home sales are lower this June compared to 12 months ago. On top of that, this came in below the street's estimate of 649,000. So they were estimating just under 650,000 new home sales, and yet it came down to less than 630,000. They also break this down by the region as well. The Northeast saw a huge decrease, down by 34% year over year. The Midwest is up by 9%. Yet the South is down by 4.4%, and the West saw one of the biggest decreases, down by over 14%. Let's have a look at new home sales nationwide over the past 10 years. So sales have been relatively flat for about a year now. We saw, of course, the peak back in late 2020, when of course everyone was moving. And of course, when rates were at 3%, now rates are closer to 7%. So sales have been relatively flat for about a year now. And right now, 627,000. I really like to look at the same month going back to pre-COVID levels back in June 2019, 729,000. Again, compared to 627,000 this June. And looking at June of 2018, there's 636,000. So a little bit higher compared to June 18 compared to right now. Here's where it gets really crazy though, because here's a look at the amount of houses for sale nationwide looking at brand new home construction. So there's 511,000 new homes for sale as the end of June this year. That is actually the highest level going all the way back for any single month, going all the way back until October of 2007. Back then there was 514,000. We're actually getting very close to the all-time record high that was set back in August of 2006. If you guys have been following this channel, I always say how if you want to get the best deal on a brand new house, go find one that is actually completed. Now here's a look at the total number of single family houses that are brand new, that are completed, and they are for sale nationwide. So right now there's 119,000 brand new houses that are completed and also for sale. That is the highest reading going all the way back until July of 2009. It's also noteworthy that the all-time record low was set around early 2022 at only 31,000. So the amount of completed houses for sale has nearly quadrupled compared to then. And because overall for the nation as a whole, there's a lot of completed houses for sale. Of course, we're seeing that in Sacramento as well. Most of the new builds I visit today, they are offering a lot of incentives because they have a lot of completed houses for sale. A builder who has built a house has paid for all the construction, labor, materials to build a home, and just sitting, they're going to be very, very motivated to sell that house. And the interest rates are seeing, maybe you've seen these teaser rates online. One of them is a 1.99% introductory rate. You have to put 20% down, and on top of that, you have to close by a certain time. Therefore, it's really only looking at, or it only applies to completed houses. So all these incentives being offered by builders really, for the most part, is for completed houses. All right, going back to this report from their CEO, who is Tim Murphy, he said many prospective buyers here and across the country are putting purchases on hold as they wait for expected lower interest rates and a better sense of where the economy is going. So speaking of that, let's have a look at today's interest rates according to the Mortgage News Daily. These are not my interest rates. I am a licensed loan officer in California. This is based on a daily survey that they conduct to have a look at, asking lenders, what's your best rate for someone putting 20% down? You have a great credit score, you're buying your primary residence. So the average rate, which is today, which is July 29th, 2025, is 6.77% for a 30-year fix. Here's jumbo, this is high balance. You have VA loans and FHA loans right here. So looking at average 30-year fixed rates, here's a look at the chart over the past 5 years. I mean, look at 2020 and early 21, actually for the most part of 21, you're looking at the average rate was around 3%. But really ever since July, May, June and July of 2023, rates have been hovering around 7%. Excluding late 2023 when it approached 8%, and also in September of 2024 when it decreased to the low sixes, but has been hovering around 7% for about 2 years now. And this, of course, is one of the main reasons why we had this kind of like stagnation of home sales for brand new houses, but on top of that for existing houses here in Sacramento, but also in the for the nation as a whole as well, because we have high interest rates, high home prices, which is making housing affordability a very big problem, which is kind of wiping out first-time home buyers and a lot of people who want to sell their house and buy a more expensive one. That's also been more or less wiped out as well, because if you own a home and you want to buy a house next door that's identical to yours, same home size and lot size, your housing payment would probably double because you're going from a 3% rate, 4% rate to a 6 to 7% interest rate. Okay, let's get back to this report though. It says in recent months, sales for new and existing houses have ticked upward when rates have dropped toward 6%, and then of course pulled back when rates rose. The Fed is likely to begin easing interest rates perhaps as early as this month. He actually quoted this about 3 weeks ago in early July. But to kickstart the housing market, they need to take steps to get interest rates down to the 6% range. I also agree with him regarding this. If you guys want to see the market have an upswing, we need to see rates in the low 6% range, or especially below 6%. I would imagine that if rates were to decrease to those levels, we would see a lot of activity though. One thing to mention though, and I think they mentioned here as well, yeah, they do. It says buyers should remember that home builders can offer rate reductions and incentives that existing homeowners cannot offer. That is 100% true. One of the main reasons why I do a lot of new build tours, of course, we have a lot of construction here, but on top of that, the incentives they offer, you just can't get when buying an existing house. You can't buy an existing house and have the seller pay for a 3-2-1 buy down in which your first year, your interest rate's 1.99%, and your 4 through 30, it's 4.99%. It is impossible to get a rate that low when buying an existing house, but you can get that when buying brand new home construction. Therefore, he says prospective buyers should consider the options available because a new home may be more affordable than you think, especially compared to a home that's 10 or 20 years old compared to a brand new house. The incentives being offered are not comparable at the very least. In regards to the Fed's likelihood that they will decrease rates in their upcoming meetings, here's a look at the CME FedWatch tool. If you actually just Google that, CME FedWatch tool, you'll see this. So there's basically a 0% probability that the Fed will cut interest rates tomorrow on Wednesday, July 30th. I also agree with that as well. The Fed is not going to do anything in their meeting tomorrow, which is probably today when you're watching this video. So according to them, there's virtually a 98% probability that the Fed will do nothing in their meeting on July 30th. However, their next meeting, which is scheduled for September 17th, there is a 65% chance that they actually will decrease interest rates, or the federal funds rate, by 25 basis points down to 4.25%. However, though, having said that, there still is a 34% chance that the Fed will not do anything in their September meeting as well. Then when we fast forward through the end of the year, and the last meeting is scheduled for December 10th this year, there's a 44% chance we're going to be at 4%. That's the federal funds rate, by the way. This means that the federal funds rate should decrease potentially by 50 basis points compared to late July this year. Therefore, the street is expecting for 2 interest rate cuts by year end. And by the way, I should have mentioned this at the beginning here. The federal funds rate is loosely tied to mortgage rates, but it does not have a direct correlation. So just because the Fed cuts interest rates does not mean that mortgage rates will decrease. Again, they are loosely correlated, so just keep that in mind. We're not talking about a 4% average 30-year fixed mortgage rate, which we probably will not see that for years to come. With that said, if you guys are looking to make a move to the Greater Sacramento area, again, you can book a call with me right here. Also, check out my other videos. I make a lot of updates regarding the market here. And of course, going over neighborhood tours as well. This is coming from someone who's been living here for 40 plus years. With that said, please like and subscribe. And of course, I look to hear from you. Please leave me a comment below with your biggest aha moments of today's video. I appreciate you guys for watching today's video, and we'll see you in the next one.